guest, Charla. You all have seen her before, and she is a licensed therapist, and she's going to be helping me on this episode where we talk about defectiveness and dependent schema. So we're going to start off with a little game called The Things That We Carry. As you guys see, I have a little luggage here. There's a lot of different things in the luggage. So Charla and I are going to teach you about defectiveness schema and dependent schema by playing a little game. Alright, Charla, so we're going to first start off by pulling a card, and then we're going to match it to which schema we think it falls under. This is defectiveness schema, and this is dependent schema. So what does your card say?
Something is wrong with me.
What does that sound like to you?
Defectiveness.
Alright, there we go.
I'll just put it anywhere.
Yep, just put it anywhere on the luggage. Alright, you guys, so I have pulled one called I'm Not Good Enough. Let me bring it up to the camera so you guys can see it. And I think this falls under defectiveness as well. Luggage is building up soon. Go ahead, Charlotte, grab one.
If people really knew me, they would reject me. I think that's defectiveness too.
I think that's defectiveness too. Oh, let me shake this up a bit. I promise y'all there's some more of the other schema in there. That one's already been in there. I have to hide my flaws from others. That's the defectiveness schema too now. I know the dependent got some.
A lot of defectiveness there. Let's see. I would fall apart without support from others. Dependence.
I'm not smart enough to figure this out. Alright, so it looks like dependent schema is when you are relying on others, you're not really sure of yourself.
I can't trust myself to make good choices. Dependence.
Alright, mine says I need someone else to make decisions for me.
I'll mess everything up if I try by myself.
Dependence is giving defectiveness or wrongfulness. Mine says, I don't deserve love or acceptance. And that is defectiveness schema.
People only tolerate me. That is defectiveness.
Everyone else is better than me. I'm gonna say that's defectiveness, although I could turn it into dependence if I needed to, but what stands out is effectiveness.
Okay. I can't handle things on my own. That is dependence.
I need constant help to get through life. And that is dependence.
people are more capable than I am. Defective.
So we have sorted through the luggage, and we have put each of these things into the schema that they belong in. All right? And so, as we have learned, dependent schema is when you need constant reassurance from others, you need constant guidance from others, you just don't feel capable of making decisions on your own or doing things without another person. This can show up in a lot of areas in your life. It can show up in relationships, it can show up in friendships, it can show up in your work life. A lot of people don't take the steps that they need for their life because they are waiting for someone else to help them. All right. Defective schema is when you feel like something at your core is wrong with you. And it spills into different areas of your life, like I'm not good enough, something's wrong with me, I need to hide my flaws. Sometimes even the people that appear to be the most confident struggle with defectiveness schema. All right, so we are going to switch it up a little bit for you guys, and we're going to add in what are called maladaptive coping skills, or ways that people negatively deal with the schemas that they are carrying. Okay? So the maladaptive coping skills that we're going over today are counteractive, avoidance or escaping, or surrendering. All right, so when you have a counteractive coping skill, you act as if you don't have a schema. So you act in ways that are opposite from the schema. When you avoid it, you avoid situations that won't allow that schema to come up. And when you surrender to it, you just give into it, and you do act as if that schema exists. All right? So Charlotte and I are just going to choose from power, in no specific order, and then we're going to guess which schema it might be attached to. All right, I'll practice that first. Constantly striving for new challenges. So this is counteractive. And I'm a little confused myself, but I'll go for it. We're constantly striving for new challenges, and we're trying to act as if the schema does not exist. I'm going to say that's dependent.
I can see that.
Because you want people to think if you're counteractive, you're acting as if the schema doesn't exist. So if you're constantly striving for new challenges, you're trying to prove you're hyper independent. So you're trying to prove that you're not dependent. The running man is avoiding or escaping, so he's just running.
So I'm avoiding. And is keeping others at a distance and not sharing things about yourself. I'm going to say defectiveness, because if I think something's wrong with me, I'm going to keep others away so they
won't see your flaws.
Right.
I would say you are dead on with that one. Something wrong. Kathy's going for a little boxing glove. Alright, so remember counteractive, acting as if it does not exist. And so this one says being totally independent and self-reliant, so not asking for help. Ooh, that hit me deep. We ain't even gonna go into that, but I know what it is.
Okay. Let's surrender. Always shaking your decisions with others.
Alright, so that's giving into the schema, so doing exactly what the dependent schema or whatever schema with others.
Yep, it's dependent.
So it's okay every now and then to check with your tribe and say, what do you think about this decision? But ultimately, the decision should be what you want, because it's your decision. You're the only one that's going to be impacted by it. But if the keyword is always, if you're always checking your decisions, if you always need to consult with others before you make a move, you might be falling into dependent schema if you don't trust your own decisions. I'm gonna choose something different. I keep going. Whew, all right. Choosing abusive partners. That's surrendering. That's giving in to the schema. I already know what this is. Defectiveness schema. So if at your core you believe that you are defective, you're not good enough, something's wrong with you. This is how schemas are tricky. They want to keep themselves, schemas want to keep themselves alive. They want to be proven to be true. So it's going to gravitate towards things that will prove it to be right. So by you choosing an abusive partner, you are confirming these things. I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. People only tolerate me because an abusive partner is going to make you feel that way.
All right. Refusing to act independently. I'm going to say that is dependence.
So you see this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, about this theory called learned helplessness. Doesn't it kind of relate to that when people, they get stuck in this position of they want to be a victim. They continue to be a victim because that's all they know. So I feel like that plays into dependent schema as well.
Sometimes it serves a purpose for them too. Like when you become the victim, sometimes it serves a purpose, like it gets the attention or something that they feel like they need. So yeah, it is a learned, sometimes a learned helplessness.
And then sometimes people get their needs met by being a victim. Like people will do for me if I appear to be helpless or not know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yep. Oh wait. That one. Okay. You can tell my coping skills because I'll counteract it. I want to pretend that none of this. But if y'all haven't learned it already, I would do the complete opposite. So, this maladaptive coping skill is perfectionism. So, you're striving to be perfect. So, you're acting as if the schema does not exist by trying to be perfect. And this goes under defectiveness schema because if I feel like I'm not enough, I feel inferior to my core, then I am going to go above and beyond to prove that I am perfect, to fight against those things.
I'm going to surrender again. Needing constant assurance.
And you got one?
I'm going to say reassurance. Needing constant reassurance. I'm going to say that is dependence. Because if I'm dependent on your opinion, then I don't feel confident on doing things on my own. So I need your constant reassurance to make me feel better on my decisions and my choices.
Oh, wow.
You like that?
I like the fight. And okay. Acting superior to others. Again, this is counteractive, fighting against how you really feel. And let me just clarify, if it is not already obvious, maladaptive means that it's negative. So none of these things that we are mentioning are healthy reactions to schemas. They're all negative. So acting superior to others. So I know that there is a buzzword now called narcissism. And yes, narcissists can feel that way at their core, but not everyone who acts superior to others is a narcissist. They might be dwelling with defectiveness schema because they feel inferior in their core or defective in their core. They try to fight against that by acting superior to others, but that does not mean that they are a narcissist. They are struggling with a schema. I
selecting partners who are dependent on you. So that's a counteract that I feel I'm very dependent. So I'm gonna find somebody who's dependent on me so that I could fight that schema that I have.
Mm-hmm. Some of these schemas are tricky.
Yeah.
Again, with the boxing gloves, counteractive. Selecting partners that you think are beneath you, right? And I put think in capital letters because just because you think that somebody is beneath you does not mean that they are. All right? And so, because I feel so inferior in my core, so defective in my core, I need someone who can make me feel good. And so, who better else to pray on than someone that I think doesn't know more than me, isn't at my status in life. I think they are beneath me. And so, that is counteractive coping skill to defectiveness.
Let's run it one more time. Relying on help from others. That goes with the dependence. I'm going to surrender to it. I'm dependent. I need people. I need your help. So I'm just going to rely on help from others all the time because it feeds into my schema that I need constant help to get through life.
Losing yourself in things. This one's tricky. Some of these are losing myself in things. It could be both, but I'm gonna go with dependence because once again it kind of comes up like and then you're trying to escape or avoid the dependent schema, so you're escaping into something. And losing yourself in things could be like losing yourself in drugs, losing yourself in work, losing yourself in other people. So that is why I believe it's a maladaptive coping skill to dependency.
Can't go for both of them.
Yeah, it could. That's why it was a little confusing. It could go for both.
Okay, and this last one says procrastinating on making decisions. And that could also go for both to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't think I'm good enough, I'm flawed, I make bad decisions, those types of things. And also, because I'm dependent on other people to make decisions for me. But I think it leans more towards the procrastinating on making decisions. Because if I gotta make it on my own and nobody's supporting me, then that makes it hard for me to make that decision because I'm dependent.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys kind of feel as confused as we were with some of these, like, man, those kind of overlap, it's because they do. Like, if you feel defective, how are you going to be independent? If you don't feel good enough, you're not going to be able to make decisions on your own. You're not going to be able to act on your own. You're going to be relying on other people. So there's a reason why we're doing both of these together, because they overlap, which a lot of our core beliefs sometimes overlap. And you'll see as we go on through this series, a lot of schemas overlap as well. So while we have this on the board, let's start a conversation about some of these things. So as clinicians, we kind of see people with these different schemas show up for a presenting problem, and then as we continue to work with them, we realize that there's something in their core that is driving them to come in. What are some of the common things that might cause a person with defectiveness schema to kind of walk into the office?
What do you mean?
So for example, like, I deal a lot with self-esteem. That's kind of my niche. So what might drive a person to say, okay, I need therapy? A lot of times that I see, they might come in for trauma. Like Like they have experienced a lot of trauma, and we know that trauma, it can cause you to feel this way or fall into this schema. So that could be a presenting problem. And because of their trauma, they have negative distortions about themselves or the world, which might form, I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough to figure this out. So maybe in part of their history, it was, you know, they weren't allowed to make decisions. Making decisions or being self-reliant meant danger for them. Speaking up for themselves probably meant abuse for them. So we might see these schemas show up in another way, like they might be coming from depression, they might be coming from PTSD, and then anxiety. Yeah. Definitely anxiety. I was self-disclosed. That's why I was relating to a lot of these. Dependent schema, because it is so hard for me to make a decision. So I'm either do one thing, two things. I'm gonna ruminate over it and procrastinate and making a decision. But as you see me, I pulled a lot of these boxing gloves because that's how I've been fighting against my anxiety. I'm gonna not think about it. I'm gonna just do it. So being totally independent and self-reliant, this was hard as I don't know what for me in this season of my life, to have to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because being put in a position where I have no other choice but to ask for help, that bothered me. And I got told by a lot of people in my social circle, you're too independent. You can ask for help. I told it yesterday actually. You can ask for help.
I get told that too.
I can help you carry some things. Like, not me, I'm trying to carry it off. Constantly, this is another one. When we talk about being hyper independent or being, you know, like a go-getter, we call it being a go-getter. Constantly striving for new challenges. I have noticed this about myself. When I'm in a place where I don't know what to do, like there's a season in my life where everything feels chaotic, I start a new career goal. I'm like, okay, maybe I should go back to school and get another degree. I'm not lying. I recently inquired about being in tech or cybersecurity.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe I should find another career goal, because that's always been my safe place. New challenges, especially academically and professionally. Or maybe I need to get trained in such and such, because that's how I want to counteract dependent schema. I want to be hyper independent. I don't really check my decisions with other people. They might want me to know. Losing yourself in things. Some people call it goal oriented, but sometimes it can be escaping what you're really dealing with, working long hours at work, working long hours in school, losing yourself in things. Other people, it could be, you know, excessive partying, excessive hanging out, risky behavior, doing drills. I don't do none of that. I'm an introvert. So I lose myself in work and my career. Let's see. I don't relate to any of the other ones on dependence. So let's look at effectiveness. This one, keeping others at a distance. Yeah, I call it being an introvert, but
Keeping other people.
Yeah, it's keeping other people at a distance. Not sharing things about yourself. That's me as well. This is good for me right here that I'm sharing my skills. So not sharing things about yourself, that used to be the old me. I wouldn't share a thing about myself. Not even that I like the color pink. Like I wasn't sharing anything. I was a boss. Striving to be perfect, perfectionism. That's a schema that is healing. Sometimes I have to check myself and be like, this cannot be perfect. Even with this activity. I was like, no, this has to be this way. I got mad at putting the duct tape up there. And the things start falling down. So striving to be perfect is still something that I struggle with, but I'm working on. One of my coworkers got mad at them when they said it, but now I understand it. They were like, perfectionism is the enemy of doing. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't use the word perfect. I said high quality. But now I understand it because striving to be perfect and perfectionism, you'll never get what you need to get done. Even with this self-esteem series, I was like, I gotta order a green screen, I gotta do this, I gotta get a professional camera. And the lady that's helping me, she was like, no, you just need to start. you just need to start. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep it. I just need to start. So I started. All right. This one is one I don't like to admit. But in the world of social media where you get to see what other people are doing, social comparison comes up a lot for me. Because it's like, well, these people are in my same age range and they're doing this and they're doing that. And I just feel behind. I feel like everyone else is doing better than me. And of course, that is a distortion that my mom constantly reminds me of. Like, you don't know what everyone else is doing. They have struggles just like you. You only see, my mom not there. You only see what people want you to see. You don't know. They might look at your life and think that you're doing better than them. And that helps reel me back in. But this is a thought that sometimes pops up for me.
I agree with that one too. I mean, especially because, I like fracking. I love, and everybody's like, why don't you do this and do this? You should start a business. I'm like, somebody's out there that can do it better than me. But then everybody's comes like, no, you're great. Even my little 4-year-old niece told me that's one of those. She said, because you do amazing artwork. So sometimes it's just like, you always have that thought in your mind, like, somebody can do it better than you. But like I said, you have to remind yourself that yours is yours, and somebody's gonna like you. So yeah.
I once, when I first started my business, I read, I'm all about a quote. It was something that said, people might have the same recipe, but the sauce is not the same. And so even though someone might be doing the same thing as you, your personality and you being personable will cause people to gravitate to you. Right. It can be, even when choosing restaurants, I don't care if a restaurant's food is banging. If they got poor customer service and it ain't looking clean, I'm not going there. And so they both could be serving good food, but what about the customer service? What about, the cleanliness of the restaurant? And so that helps to kind of, that kind of helps to challenge that belief a little bit. Right. That everyone is not better than you, everybody's doing their own thing, navigating life the way they are meant to navigate it. Yep. All right, you guys, so we have hopefully helped you to identify whether or not you fall into any of these schemas. I will continue to be going through the series Summer of Schemas. If you realize that you do struggle with some of these schemas, because everybody comes from something. Like my dad once said, if you haven't experienced anything in life, then just keep on living. So we all have our life experiences, and unfortunately, all of them are not going to be, rainbows and sunshine. And so we might develop some schemas along our journey, but we don't have to continue to act and behave and be controlled by those schemas. So if you realize that you are carrying some weighty luggage or attached to any of the schemas that we are going over, as I talk to different therapists, I am going to attach their information with their permission underneath the post, and you can reach out to me. You can reach out to any of these intelligent therapists and experienced therapists and reach out for help. Thank you for your time.